Welcome back to This Old Kitchen. It's time for that clean out before the holidays. Let's get everything out and see what we can bake with. Okay, so in my baking cabinet, I have got a bunch of butterscotch chips, white chocolate chips, semi sweet chips, peanut butter, milk chocolate, Biscoff cookies, more white chocolate chips, Nutella, some cookie butter, some banana chips, some macadamia nuts, sweetened condensed milk, pumpkin, oatmeal, nuts, pretzels, and more nuts. All right, for the first thing that we're going to do some butterscotch scotchies. That's going to be 1 cup butter, so 2 full sticks, softened, not melted. We're going to use our whisk. Let's get our sugar. All right, so that's going to be equal parts, 3/4 cup white granulated sugar, and we are going to cream that together. You can use a teaspoon of vanilla, or you can use a teaspoon of grated orange peel. All right, vanilla. All right, so we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Next thing we're going to do is 3 cups of oats. Now, I don't think I have 3 cups of oats. Looks like I've got 1.5 cups of my granola. 2 cups of butterscotch. And now I still have butterscotch left over. Oven of 375 for 7 to 10 minutes. You don't need to yummy. These ones look like they need just a little bit more time. But look at that. That looks yummy. All right, so the next thing that we are going to make are going to be peanut butter pretzel bars. I had some pretzels here that needed to be used. Excuse me. But I am going to split this in half. I'm not going to do a full recipe because nobody eats sweets really. So I'm just going to do a half of recipe. I swear this menopause brain is killing me. All right, so the recipe is going to call for 1.5 cups melted butter. So I am going to do, there's a 1/2 cup, and then let's get 1/4. Oops. And 1/4. So there is 3/4 cup butter.
Next is going to be 3/4 cup peanut butter, and both need to be melted, so I'm just going to melt them together. And then I have literally a spit of Nutella left. I don't really buy Nutella. My daughter wanted to try it, so I'm going to put this in here as well. Just to give another layer of flavor. I like that hazelnut flavor. Hazelnut's always been my go-to when I'd get coffee because it's not too sweet. It's not too sugary. It's just right. All right, so we're going to microwave these. Look at all this recycling. We're going to microwave this in 30-second intervals to get it nice and liquidy. In the meantime, you're going to take one 16-ounce bag. Again, I split mine in half, so this is half a bag, 8 ounces, and crushed your pretzels. Let's get this in the microwave. 30-second intervals. Obviously, your butter's going to melt first before you put it in for another 30 seconds because you don't want to burn your butter. Is use the residual heat from the butter to help melt your peanut butter, and if you put Nutella in there, if you put cookie butter, whatever it is that you use in this, whatever flavors you like. And just use that residual heat to melt it. And then as it incorporates together, then you can put it in the microwave again if you need a little bit more heat, and the butter won't burn because it's mixed in with the peanut butter and whatnot. All right, that is nice and creamy. Looking at that. That's what you're looking for. If you've got a couple lumps in there, it's okay. That heat, if you stir it some more, will literally melt everything. All right, so next we're going to do confectioner's sugar. And the recipe calls for 3 cups. I'm going to do 1.5 cups. This is my 1/2 cup. And there is my 1.5 cups. I'm not really a righty, I'm a lefty. So forgive my arm. 3 daughters, all of them are right-handed. My stepson is left-handed. How that happened, I don't know. But he is very artistic, so he is the antithesis of a lefty. I think antithesis is the right word. All right, so what we're looking for is a nice creamy mixture. Then we're going to take our beat up pretzels and we're going to add those in. We're going to mix that in. And this basically is going to be your crust to your bar. Now, there's no baking with this. That's the awesome thing. We're going to chill it. All right, so next we're going to take this. Now, you can do this. You can do this in a 9x13 if you're doing a full recipe. I'm going to do it in an 8x8. Hopefully we can get it all in there. I have a second one here if I need, but we're going to do with this. Smells so good. All right, and just like you would if you're doing crispy treats, we're going to take a piece of parchment paper and we're going to smush it in idea. All right, next we're going to do the chocolate topping. All right, 1 full package of semi-sweet minis in a bowl. And we're going to melt those. And that's going to be the drizzle for the top. Now, sorry, I'm having a hard time breathing. You can use butter. You can use shortening. You can use lard. Everything has a different melting point. I like using virgin coconut oil when I'm using dark chocolate because it gives it a more of a ganache type finish, a very silky, a very shiny look in your dark chocolate, in your semi-sweets. And so I always opt when I'm using semi-sweet or dark chocolate to use coconut oil. Again, you can use shortening, you can use butter, whichever. So we're going to use 1 tablespoon of coconut. All right, I think we are there. And I know I was splitting this recipe in half, but I love chocolate. I love semi-sweet chocolate. All right, so this is what you're looking for. That really just gorgeous, drippy chocolate. We're going to drizzle this on top. This is going to be super thick bars, but that's okay because that's what dessert is supposed to be. Even though we don't eat dessert. Because, you know, we got to be over the top. You can add whatever it is you want. I'm going to break up some pretzels. And because pretzels never really have enough salt on them for me, and these are super rich and super thick, put some sea salt. For about an hour. And then you can cut them into bars. So we're going to stick this in the fridge. Look how yummy that looks. And look how thick it is. I think we're going to have to cut this in like fudge size. But we're going to stick this in the refrigerator and let it chill for an hour. Okay, so the last recipe that we're going to make for the evening, for the day, is going to be chocolate almond scones. The bagels are done. They've been taken out of the oven, so the kids have that. Excuse me. And I love bagel scones. Those are one of the first things that I ever learned how to make way back. So what I've got in my bowl is going to be 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 cup granulated sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. So we're going to get that all mixed in, and then we're going to add in 1/2 cup of buttermilk. You can use buttermilk or you can use heavy cream. If you don't have buttermilk at home, if you have regular milk and lemon, you can make buttermilk that way. And 1 egg. So get those dry ingredients all incorporated and mixed in. That way you don't bite into 1 thing of salt or 1 thing of baking powder. All right. Now that we've got that in, next thing is going to be grating our frozen butter. This is probably the easiest thing. I used to do it with a pastry cutter and it just did not go well. So you can do this either by grating it, you can use a pastry cutter, or you can use your fingers. If you use your fingers, because the butter does need to stay frozen or at least cold to incorporate, put your bowl back in the freezer or your stick of butter back in the freezer so it can re-solidify. The reason for the cold butter is so you get that light flaky. It's like when you make a pie crust, you get that light flaky texture. It's the same thing with scones. The more you work your scones and the more you play with the dough, knead the dough, stir the dough, whatever it is, the more dense they'll become, and you don't want a dense scone. All right. Don't get a knuckle, don't get a finger. Okay, so you're going to use your hands, get that all incorporated with the flour mixture until it becomes like sand. Okay. All right, next we're going to put in our 1/2 cup buttermilk. All right. Your 1 egg, and then your almond extract. And for almond extract, you really only need a teaspoon. It is strong, so you'll want to be aware of that. All right, and you're going to mix it just until you get that flour incorporated. And then we're going to put some semi-sweets in here. Put all of them in there. All right, as you can see, the bagels are ready. Let's get these on here. And you can shape your scones however you want. All right, so those are going to go into a 400-degree oven for 18 to 20 minutes until golden brown. I am going to dust these with a little bit of buttermilk on the top. Just to give them a little bit of a glaze. Not a lot, just a little. The buttermilk gives them a really pretty shine on the top. And then because it is chocolate, you know me, can't go wrong with a little bit of salt. All right, again, 400-degree oven for 18 to 20 minutes. All right, so they're done. Look at how gorgeous.
Well, there you go. You've got 4 baking items cleaned out. We're going to do some more tomorrow, and we got dinner made. So thank you guys for joining me. I hope you have a great day, a great evening, and get those pantries cleaned out.